All stations can keep up. At Adaba FM, we'll not only give you news at the speed of nanosecond, but we'll also break it down with up-to-date analysis, informed opinions, and distinct professionalism. That's why you love us. Adaba 88.9 FM, your go-to station.
It's midday. Good afternoon. I'm Olajumoke, Omotoso. President Muhammadu Buhari will lead members and supporters of the APC to unveil the renewed Hope Action Plan of the party's presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Yola, the Adama state capital, today. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is running mate Senator Kashim Shettima and the party's national chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, will lead members of the National Working Committee for the campaign. Also expected are members of the Progressive Governors Forum, the Presidential Campaign Council, and party supporters in the Northeast. President Buhari, who last year kicked off the APC presidential campaign in Jos, the Plateau State capital, will today join the train and lead the campaign henceforth in other states before the February 25, 2023 presidential election. An advanced team from the elite guard in the presidency had arrived to Yola since Saturday for surveillance of the campaign venue near the Yola airport. President Buhari will also lead the APC Presidential Campaign Council to Damaturu, the Yobe State capital, tomorrow. Egyptian authorities are trying to refloat a cargo vessel that ran aground in the Suez Canal. Shipping agency lead agency said that MV Glory had run aground near the northeastern city of Qatar. The vessel was listed as carrying over 65,000 metric tons of grain from Ukraine bound for China. In 2021, a giant container ship, the Ever Given, blocked the canal, disrupting global trade. Suez Canal is a vital waterway that connects the Mediterranean with the Red Sea, providing an avenue for vessels to pass between Asia and the Middle East and Europe. Votes have been counted in Benin after voting in Sunday's parliamentary elections. Reports say vote turnout was low. Opposition parties took part this time after having either boycotted or been excluded from other polls in recent years. President Patrice Talon said he believed the country is turning the wrong pages of its recent political history. He explained that no one is boycotting anymore, despite the reforms that are still in progress and which are transforming the political, economic, and administrative environment. The results are expected within next week. Zimbabwe police say they are investigating allegations of violence against the opposition. This comes after a video was widely shared on social media showing that what appears to be a gang interrogating and assaulting people holding an opposition meeting. The incident has raised fears that this year's election will see a repeat of some of the violence that has marred previous polls in Zimbabwe. In the video, reportedly filmed in Marawa, northeast of Harare, a woman interrogates a group of people and castigates them for supporting the opposition. An elderly man is then held down on the ground as men beat him repeatedly with wooden poles. The Opposition Citizens Coalition for Change says it is one of many pieces of evidence showing that the governing ZANU-PF party has unleashed the vigilante groups ahead of elections. A ZANU-PF official in the area has distanced his party from the attack. You're listening to Global News on Adaba 88.9 FM, Akure, transmitting from Olajumoke. After the break, Brazil president vows to punish Supreme Court attackers. Details in the second part of the bulletin. Please join us again.
The news on Adaba 88.9 FM.
Glad to have you back for news updates and live streaming. Visit our website www.adaba889.fm or download Adaba FM app on Google Play Store. You can part of us on our social media platforms www.facebook.com/Adaba FM 8.9 on Facebook, at Adaba 89 FM on Instagram and Adaba FM TV on YouTube. You can provide us information via email newsroom at Adaba 88.9.fm. Now to the rest of the bulletin. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has vowed to punish supporters of the country's ex-leader Jair Bolsonaro after the stormed Congress. Supporters of the ousted far-right leader also stormed the Supreme Court and surrounded the presidential palace, with the police regaining control of the buildings in the capital, Brasilia, after hours of clashes. On arrival in the city, Lula toured the Supreme Court building to see the damage himself. Brazilian civil police said 300 people have been arrested. The city's governor, Ebenezer Rocha, has been removed from his post for 90 days by the Supreme Court. Justice Alexandra de Moraes accused him of failing to prevent the riot and of being painfully silent in the face of the attack. Mr. Rocha has apologized for Sunday's event. Workers have clashed with police at a COVID test kit factory in China. The protest started on Saturday after a sudden announcement of layoffs and disputes over wages in the southwestern city of Zhongjiang. Some videos were filmed at Zimbabwean, a company specializing in vitro diagnostic reagents and equipment. China's end to its zero-COVID policy has seen requirement for negative test results dropped across the country. In one video, hundreds of workers could have seen gathering outside the factory, some of them shouting, "Give us our money back." Boxes of antigen test kits could be seen strewn on the ground. Later at night, some protesters threw chairs, crates, and traffic cones at a group of riot police deployed at the scene, forcing the officers to retreat. Part of northern India experiences a severe, prolonged cold wave that has thrown normal life out of gear. Dense fog has delayed more than 100 flights and dozens of trains, causing chaos at airports and railway stations. Authorities in capital city Delhi have asked schools to extend the winter holidays and cancel classes. The minimum temperature in part of the city has dropped to 1.9 Celsius on Sunday. Other northern states have also been grappling with an acute cold wave, with temperatures rising to -6 degrees Celsius in India-administered Kashmir. India's weather department declared a cold wave when the minimum temperature is less than 4 Celsius. The Meteorological Department has asked people to avoid or limit outdoor activities until weather conditions improved. Players at the Australian Open will not need to take COVID-19 tests and could play if they have the virus. Tournament director Craig Tilley said they just wanted to follow what's currently in the community. They said they have gone a step further by making a recommendation around staying away when ill. Last year, players had to test daily and isolate if positive, and also had to be vaccinated, while in 2021, the event took place in biosecure bubble. 9-time champion Novak Djokovic, who is unvaccinated, was deported last January, just before the tournament because of his COVID-19 status. The Australian Open starts on Monday, 16 January, and runs until Sunday, 29 January. To end global news, a recap of the top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari will lead members and supporters of the APC to unveil the renewed Hope Action Plan of the party's presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in Yola, the Adama state capital, today. Zimbabwe police are investigating allegations of violence against the opposition after a video was widely shared on social media showing a gang assaulting people holding an opposition meeting. I told that Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has vowed to punish supporters of the country's ex-leader Jair Bolsonaro after the stormed Congress. That's Global News as edited by Olasukomi Elujaba. I'm Olajumoke, Omotoso, saying good afternoon and thanks for listening.
News is one thing. Accurate news is another.